Hi there! In this video, we will discuss the summary of the third chapter of Noli Me Tangere by Dr. Jose Rizal, titled The Dinner. We will also study the important events, characters, settings, and lessons found in this chapter. Listen and watch carefully, as you will learn a lot from this historical work by Rizal. Let's begin. Dinner was ready, and the guests were beginning to gather around the dining table. While Padre Sibila's face showed joy at the feast, Padre Damaso was the complete opposite. The priest was visibly annoyed, his irritation clear on his face. Lieutenant Guevara, meanwhile, was distracted by Doña Victorina's curly hair. He didn't notice that he had stepped on the hem of her dress, which annoyed the lady. Crisostomo Ibarra took his seat at the head of the table. At the other end, the two priests were arguing over who should sit there. Padre Damaso insisted that Padre Sibila should take the seat because he was the parish priest of the area. However, Padre Sibila refused, saying that Padre Damaso should sit there instead, as he was the confessor of Captain Tiago's family. Eventually, Padre Sibila offered the seat to the lieutenant, who politely declined. Captain Tiago also refused when Ibarra invited him to sit there. When the food was served, Padre Damaso became even more annoyed because the portion of the chicken soup he received was mostly necks and wings. Unbeknownst to him, the special part of the soup was reserved for Ibarra. As they ate, Ibarra shared his experiences studying in Europe, including his observations of the countries he visited and how he never forgot his homeland. Despite his respectful tone, Padre Damaso insulted him, calling his education in Europe a waste of money. Ibarra calmly accepted the insult and instead mentioned how Padre Damaso had been a close friend of his father, which silenced the priest. Lieutenant Guevara realized that Ibarra had no idea about the circumstances of his father's death. After the gathering, Ibarra left early, so he did not get to see Maria Clara, Captain Tiago's daughter. Now, let's move on to the important events in this chapter. At the dining table, the guests' behavior was almost like a comedy, especially Padre Damaso, who was visibly annoyed and grumbling. There was a dispute between Padre Damaso and Padre Sibila over who should sit at the end of the table, but in the end, Padre Sibila humbly offered the seat to someone else. Padre Damaso became angry when he received the less desirable parts of the chicken soup, such as the neck and wings. Ibarra shared his experiences in Europe, including his love for his country, but Padre Damaso insulted him, calling his education a waste of money. Despite the insults, Ibarra remained respectful and left the dinner early without seeing Maria Clara. Important characters. Padre Damaso, a priest known for being arrogant and oppressive, especially toward Ibarra. He showed his anger and disdain for the young man, especially after receiving the less desirable parts of the soup. Don Tiburcio, the inexperienced husband of Doña Victorina, who lives a lie pretending to be a doctor. Padre Sibila, a priest who argued with Padre Damaso over who should sit at the end of the table. In the end, he humbly offered the seat to the lieutenant. Doña Victorina, a woman known for pretending to be a true Spaniard. She was annoyed when Lieutenant Guevara stepped on her dress. Crisostomo Ibarra, the young man who recently returned from Europe, the son of Don Rafael Ibarra. He was the main reason for the gathering and sat at the head of the table. He showed respectful behavior even when insulted by Padre Damaso. Captain Tiago, one of the main characters of the novel and the host of the gathering. He is the father of Maria Clara and a close friend of Crisostomo's father. Lieutenant Guevara, a civil guard officer who declined Padre Sibila's offer to sit at the head of the table. He quietly observed the events, especially Ibarra's conversation. Let us now proceed to the setting of this chapter. This chapter took place at a dining table during a feast hosted by Captain Tiago. Here are some of the lessons, messages, or implications shown in this chapter. Even when there are disagreements, respect for one another should not be lost. It's possible to disagree without being rude. The argument between Padre Damaso and Padre Sibila over who should sit at the head of the table reflects the social hierarchy and power dynamics during Spanish rule. It also highlights the importance of position and status in society. The priest's argument over the most important seat can be seen as a satirical critique of religious leaders' behavior, which often contradicts the principles of humility and modesty they preach. This chapter also highlights the importance of communication. Due to the lack of proper communication, Ibarra remained unaware of the news about his father, Don Rafael. This shows that poor communication can lead to misunderstandings and unexpected consequences. And that concludes the third chapter of Noli Me Tangere, titled The Dinner. What have you learned from this chapter? Share your answers in the comments. We also encourage you to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to stay updated with our future videos. Until next time, thank you for watching.